Welcome to partialarc.com. Don't do that.
You find yourself in a tavern.
Yo, we should have checked for traps.
I knew he forgot something.
I think I can reason with him.
You killed his father.
Can I have sex with it?
You could certainly try.
I'm gonna touch a sword.
Don't touch the sword.
The child is evil, right?
Obviously.
I could cast Fireball.
Always cast fireball.
All right, roll for it. Welcome to Friday Night Quests. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, Jay Jones. Last week marked the end of our adventure with special guest star Marshall Williams, but this week we're talking with Marshall and our series regulars, Jeremy Fox, Kelly Egan, and Mike Christensen, and discussing the adventure. Then, Mike interviews myself and the producers, Niels-Christian Kielland and Andrew Dickinger, and gets our thoughts on the design of the adventure and the choices we made while running the game. So, let's get to it.
Easy peasy.
All right, guys, and that was our adventure.
Woo!
Or flesh snakes.
Flesh snakes.
Yeah, ooh,
Yeah.
flesh snake.
Once again, one of our last rolls was a natural 20 when you were doing your...
We knew it was a fairy dragon, and I have its corpse in my bag.
The amazing thing was, Grax rolled
time.
like the exact amount of HP. You rolled like 5, 5, and then a 6 on D6s.
I also think I might have gotten that wrong. That might have been too many dice, but it was like...
But it was still amazing.
It was cinematically appropriate.
Just as she revealed it too, he would have had disadvantage if she revealed it.
Could the corpse of the fairy dragon count as treasure?
Sure, certainly.
It does.
I would certainly say it counts as treasure.
Yeah,
Along
she's
with
a
all
rotting
the best part is they
fairy
had talked about maybe for like the last day capturing and training this fairy dragon, and without one second thought, Grax just instantly kills it.
I'm so excited.
Man, those swords kicked our asses, though.
They did, surprisingly
That was-
so.
That was the hardest. That was like the hardest.
Well, the problem is we have an illusionist on our side,
Yeah.
so like, it's hard to like illusion.
You can't
swords.
illusion, swords very well.
because my new spell, I mean, I have Flaming Sphere now, which is great, but my new spell is Fit as Mirror Image, which is useless against things that don't have eyes and don't need to see
Yeah.
you
Don't perceive
It's like
things.
my poison bite. Like,
to attack you.
Right, because flying swords can't be blinded. They have a lot of conditions that don't apply to them. Just they are swords.
I had a feeling, which is why I was rolling and asking, like, maybe I can do the thing.
I was hoping they were
Maybe I
attached
can
to
make-
like invisible skeletons. Or
No,
something.
they're not like the flesh snakes that required eyes to make any of their attacks.
Yeah.
Flesh snakes, yes. The
Oh yeah.
yeah, you guys never knew what that creature was. It was a Yuan-Ti Malazan.
I know.
So the Yuan-Ti are snake people.
Yeah.
And they are definitely immune to damage and effects of poison.
Yeah.
So
And you to heal from that?
no, he didn't heal from it.
Okay.
But he's not resistant. He's immune.
He's immune. He's just immune.
Yeah. So
That's
it's
pretty sweet.
If it's poison damage, he's
So you're
just
basically
like,
giving
"No,
him a
thank you."
treat, essentially. You're like, here you go. He's like, I love
Yeah.
this.
Are we
love
still
this.
level 3s next time?
You guys will be leveling up. You guys will be level 4.
Oh,
With each
boy.
adventure, you grow stronger.
Yeah.
Pretty
It's
soon
more
I'll have an
interesting.
animal companion.
It's more interesting for us just to go into each section.
You have an animal companion. You have a dead fairy dragon.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm
See?
gonna study. The purpose of that is like I'm gonna try and study it to see if I can turn it into.
If you can
it.
turn into a fairy dragon.
You must have the
can.
purpose
Fairy
of
dragon was
that.
definitely
Yeah,
supposed to
I'm gonna wear its
survive
little
more
like
It was
skull around my neck.
The fairy dragon was going to be pretty annoying, and Grax just killed it immediately.
Well, because it also whispered sweet nothings into my ear, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, oh, that's nice,
sorry.
thanks.
I was
It's,
a little confused there. I was like, wait, fuck it.
Is it
Because it was like
good?
being nice to you, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, the fairy dragons, they have this thing called euphoria breath, and it can basically make you just be like trapped in a happiness for
Yeah.
like several minutes. So it actually would have like stalled you out pretty hard if it had gotten off.
Yeah.
But and it would have gone around and done more silly things because it has magic powers, but you just killed it immediately.
That was.
And the
That's
best part is
amazing.
usually because it can cast invisibility as an at will every single time. It can just keep turning itself invisible. It's called superior invisibility.
Yeah.
And nope, she just outlined it and he perfectly just impaled it at that right time.
Yeah. Because I knew that he had Hunter's Mark, but it says enemy you can see. And I was like, oh, I don't know what that's, if you're going to be able to. I don't know how to, that's why I circled it. And then she was like, fairy fire. I was like, done.
So
This-
all right, guys. Well, great game. Your characters are now at the Cal Sovereignty, or staying at the fortress with the Lord Cal and Braun and John making a new cake. What do each of your characters do over the next week while you're hanging out?
Well, I'm definitely getting a manicure and going through the Cal's collection of hats.
Yeah.
together with him.
There's quite a bit fine hats. A lot of top hats,
Yeah.
strangely.
Ooh, no.
But there are quite a few feathery hats. as
Oh,
well.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I actually really like Zephyr's feather. I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna use it.
It's a special. It was a gift
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, it was nice. It's very pretty.
All right. Izzy, what is your character doing?
My character is enjoying like it loves decadence, and Izzy loves desserts and things like that. So she's really enjoying like the catering and the food situation going on here.
Now, does Izzy prefer to eat as a human or eat as a specific type of animal?
I think I think to Izzy, animals are very like sacred, and she feels the need to become animals in order to fulfill like a purpose, not as like a play thing. This is her just now. This could change. But
She's 17.
Yeah, right. But right now
She has a lot of strong opinions very quickly.
Well, she still has like that voice in her head of like her parents being like, "You respect this. This is it's sacred." And so she's still.
We don't eat cake as a bear.
Yeah, like you treat it with. It's got a lot of power, so you treat it with respect. But of course, as she gets older, she'll come into her own on that. So no, she eats as a human. But also her side project is. Dissecting this pixie dragon, bleaching its bones, and then turning it into jewelry. So I would think that she has like a nice new bone necklace.
Now,
very nice.
Is she gonna keep all of the bones of it? Like, I feel like our man.
Oh, did you
Grax
want the
here,
tooths? I could give the teeth.
I would say give him the whole
teeth.
skull.
Aw,
Because like
that was the centerpiece.
Maybe
of
just the
necklace.
jaw.
Okay.
yeah.
You can still have the top of the jaw and the
Yeah.
head connected.
I feel like that's
I'll give you
the
this.
cool part.
Yeah.
Jaw, yeah.
Okay.
So Grax takes the. So what is Grax doing at this place over the next week?
I think Grax is probably just going to lock himself in one of the rooms in the palace and be in a drunken stupor most of the time.
Try some more of that flour.
Yeah, he'll be with the flour. He's got unlimited booze, I'm
Yeah.
assuming. And he's got some gold left, so
Yeah.
he might get into some...
Some sexual shenanigans.
Yes.
Some sexual shenanigans.
Shenanigans? Sexnanigans.
Sexnanigans?
Yeah.
Snanigans?
Yeah.
How can you make it as PG as possible?
Shenanigans sex.
Shenanigans.
I'm looking for some sexual
Hang out with
shenanigans,
some
if you know what I mean.
floozies.
Yeah.
Broads.
Floozers.
From the other tart cart.
Some flappers.
I know. Hopefully you can find another dragonborn lady.
Oh, that would be nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Get some
Maybe
of that.
he'll fall in love.
Mm-hmm. Possibly.
Wow.
Over this next week.
Maybe
I bet
that's
you things
why-
might change for Grax in a pretty big direction.
I think that's why he started getting into it in the first place, because he just felt unloved.
Yeah.
It's really a sad
He was
story.
drinking
It's
and
not
really he's
selfish.
lashing out and drinking really deep below it all.
Yeah.
Grax is just looking for love.
Yeah.
You're just lonely in that
And
room.
just
You know,
in all the wrong places.
I think if I see a dragonborn woman at the palace, I'm going to knock on your door and be like, I want you to meet somebody.
You know what? Grax was probably stealing from all those dragons. It was like when you're a kid and you push, the one you like on the playground. It's a Grax, instead of pushing them, is just stealing all their possessions and possibly killing them. But it was for a search for love.
Because they stole his heart. Because originally, the dragons actually killed his family in the past,
wow.
and that's what really set him off. And to
This
kill all
week
the
is like a
dragons.
romantic comedy for you.
A little bit, yeah.
Romantic comedies often have flying swords and snake men, right?
Of course.
Eviscerated snake men.
I think that's my favorite scene from A Walk to Remember.
Or no,
Is it?
you,
Yeah.
you've
That's
got
not a romantic comedy.
you've got
not?
Mel as a snake person in it.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering
Pretty
that right.
sure.
Yeah. that makes sense.
got
to
it.
me.
Tom
Yeah.
Hanks.
Tom Hanks is secretly a snake person in that
Yeah.
film. Am I
Yeah.
remembering
That
that
makes
wrong?
sense.
Pretty sure that's right.
Yeah.
Oh God, Sweeney. So what is Sweeney doing over the next week?
Sweeney is also going through all the Cal stuff. Not with him,
But not with him.
just whenever he has a minute, he's just going through all the rooms in the palace. Just
I feel like
for-
this is a 50-50 shot of him ending up in jail or not, but we'll see. You don't have to roll for it.
I'm gonna roll for it.
Oh, okay. We'll see if you spend most of your week in a jail cell.
Now you said 50-50, so rather than roll a stealth check, because really it's just a matter of time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll percentile die.
Okay. So if you're above 50, if you're 50% or above, I say you're good. If you're below,
68.
you get away with it.
That's a D.
You find
right?
you find some loot.
Yeah, I get some swag.
You get some swag with you.
Oh,
Probably some more
plus.
components since you've made a lot of fireballs at this time.
Yeah, I have.
You probably find some interesting manuscripts because you might learn some new magic by the next time we see Sweeney.
He will probably know a few
You
more
stole
spells.
some manuscripts.
I
just
you
used air
you
quotes.
used air quotes around stole as if it was like code for something.
Yeah, we're going to steal the cow's manuscripts. The cow's like, I'm right here. What?
Steel, of course, is the Underdark word mistranslation for beauty.
He's still from the Underdark.
So that's what he's doing, and he's going through things. He's also going to begin a relationship of his own, but he's going to do it in the form of Lord Janos Leopold Walker Silverkin the Fair.
So he's going to change clothes.
He's going to do basically Mrs. Doubtfire style, where he's going to like dress up as the person and like go to the dinner with them, but then he'll sneak away to be Sweeney.
Maybe you're seducing Grax.
Now, is he trying to like be a jerk as a lord to then make Sweeney look better, or is he just trying to?
That's how it started, and then now they have competing goals, and he can't like
he can't break character.
He can't break character. So now he's like trying to promote himself up the ranks as Lord Janos Silverkin. Wait, shoot, Lord Jamros Leopold Walker Silverkin the Fair. I have to say the whole thing every time. I've decided.
It makes sense. It makes for very long conversations.
But now Sweeney's trying to undermine him because Sweeney's bitter about how Janos was supposed to like make him look good. It was like Cyrano, where it's like, hey man, you're supposed to make me look good, but like now look what happened. And it's
you're
gotten out of
your
control.
own Cyrano.
I was trying to be my own wingman, and now it's become like this competition, and it's completely arbitrary because we're the same person.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to be gained at this point. We're courting the same woman, and like I could just say, hey, it's me, and the other guy just buggers off. But no, I want to win this person from myself. And at the end, no one wins. It's like it's like keeping the faith, where we're just drinking in a tavern together, but it's just me looking at my wig, just like taking drinks because I missed out.
Horace considers Jamros a great friend by the end of this week.
Yeah,
a very good friend.
Does not know that they're
Does not know that it's
idea
Sweeney.
Yeah.
it's a good makeup job. It's
Yeah.
not just the glasses of Clark Kent. It's like a beard and
So,
like
wow,
a paunch.
you guys are all getting some good stuff out of this. Izzy is eating some delicious food and building some new jewelry. Horace is making a friend that is already a friend, and
probably
Grax
more of
might
a
be
friend.
finding some love,
Yeah,
some love
that's
for the first
nice.
time in this fortress.
That's nice.
And I got loot.
And you got loot.
I got some gold.
We'll find out what kind of manuscripts you get the next time.
I guess so.
Yeah, and I guess which encounter I guess surprised you guys the most, or which was the weirdest for each of you?
I'll tell you what was the most surprising.
Yeah.
That sword fight that looked like an hour, which was way more difficult than I think. I'm going to go out on a limb. More difficult than Jay intended for it to be.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't think that would be as difficult as it was, and they were doing pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, it was just our rolls. They were just craptastic. And you could tell that he was rolling. Jay was rolling well.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, that's a 17, that's an 18, that's a 19, that's a 17. It was just nonstop.
It was rough. It was brutal. But then the mummy was fun.
That was
the
real
mummy?
fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
He was a mummy.
I wonder how would we have gotten to the other side of the palace if we didn't disguise ourselves in a cake?
He said that we could have taken the castle walls. Like that we could have
Scaled it.
Yeah.
But we all know that the cake was funner.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
That's a word, funner.
It is.
Yeah.
In D&D it is.
Yeah.
It's a monster.
It's an Underdark. It's an Underdark.
It's an
trope.
Underdark
Yeah.
creature. The funner is here.
Yeah. I am the funner.
So,
I also wonder what would have happened if we hadn't opened all the cages.
Oh yeah.
yeah, you guys probably wouldn't have been as many shenanigans or as much of a guard or encampment
Or
outside.
sex shenanigans.
Or sex shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that owlbear and that unicorn got up into some sex shenanigans.
Sex shenanigans.
Maybe a new chimera of it. Who knows?
Gosh, that sounds.
What does that look like?
What were you were gonna ask, Marshall?
I was gonna say, so this is your first time playing D&D, right, Marshall?
It is.
Yeah. What was your expectations coming into this game?
I literally had no idea what to expect, but it's so cool, like crafting the story around it and everything, and you get to like kind of watch a movie in your head. It's neat.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
Great. What? I guess if playing with these other characters and seeing what's out there, if you had to play another game of D&D, would you like to continue with paladin, or is there anything else you've seen that's intrigued you?
Well, I like Izzy's ability to change into animals. That's really cool. It's like very different in that sense. But I do like the scumminess of Drax.
Yeah.
Or I mean, Grax.
Grax.
But
He's drunk.
I don't know how
He's
that.
drunk.
Yeah, it's just
He mispronounces
it's like a
his
very
own name
nice
sometimes.
character that
We were
he's become.
just in between recordings talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. So
Yeah, that's right.
No, that's true. You were like a foil a little bit for the team itself.
Yeah.
It was especially them trying to capture a fairy dragon. That was fantastic.
he kind of stands for something, but it doesn't seem like he stands for anything, which I think is unique.
It's honorable, sort of.
Yeah.
he has his.
He's
He's honorable to himself.
yeah.
He's honored to him. He's
He
Grax
has,
all
he
day.
has
every
his
day.
code,
Yeah.
It's his code.
We don't know what it is, really. I mean, it could be that kill any dragon on sight always. and
While
it's-
drunk.
While drunk.
Well,
That's the truest to his character as he can be. That's great. All right, guys. Well, thank you.
Yeah, that was fun.
we didn't get to do the loser dance this time, but
I mean, I got to pee on a mummy's ashes. I'm good.
I
And you
kind
got
of
to
was doing
play
the
in
loser.
guts.
I did. Well, that was me doing my little.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear me
Yeah.
singing because I was a bear. But
What is the loser dance again?
we go
You
around
suck,
our you suck, you
Yeah, okay.
suck.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really the most honorable way to, end a fight like
It's
that.
the
You
way you
almost did.
honor
I mean,
your
you were
opponent.
dancing
I
in the
was
body of a
dancing,
dead snake
But as a
human
bear,
man.
yeah.
That was very nice.
It's the true way to honor an opponent.
Yeah, really. It's how any...
I wish you guys could sometimes see what Kelly does when she's a bear.
The hand
'Cause
motions.
Her hands are flailing around and making
The
bear
movements
face.
you do are amazing.
They're
Every
very
bear
bearish. It's hard
Every
to
every
describe.
claw and she rears up.
Yeah.
It's
It's very cinematic here.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
Fun.
It's a shame you guys can't see it.
Favorite farm.
Audio
Now.
medium. Wow.
I hope I do an okay job describing it. At least.
Well, no, I remember.
I think you honor bears quite well. If they could
Thank
talk
you.
or listen to podcasts, I think they would be like, yeah, that sounds like a bear. Or sorry, what were they called? The bears?
I thought
Well,
it was
my,
Sounds
my
like a
bear
burf.
form is now called
Barf.
Barf. There was the Barf.
Yeah.
Barf is.
This sounds like bears. We're like this.
at one point I
I
actually
get into
just
this
saw
Radio Shack.
I just saw Kelly flailing around and making bear face without actually talking, and then rolled dice. I was like, well, that's not going to work that well on a podcast.
The only thing that translated from that beautiful motion is the die
I needed to
roll.
make sure that it was even going to happen.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. Because sometimes it's nothing.
We just need to make a slide, a visual slide, and say, look at slide A. This is
Yeah.
what Kelly is doing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, we'll say,
look at
look at-
slide C.
I
Slide
think
C.
at some point I'm thinking we should. Is there some sort of visual accompaniment of? We don't describe like what we're wearing. I've never described.
For all we know,
audio.
you just wear dead bear.
Right.
No, well, probably not.
I was
dead bear.
wearing lederhosen this entire podcast.
That's just very normal.
not your character.
every day.
Yeah.
Jeremy Fox.
Yeah,
Jeremy
Fox
Fox
has been
wears
wearing lederhosen
lederhosen
this whole
whenever he
time.
records. It's pretty amazing. I think it really adds to it.
Yeah. No, but we have drawings of all the characters
Okay,
on the
cool.
website,
Yeah,
and,
on the
and we'll
website.
draw Grax as well.
Grax will be there
Yeah.
in his glory.
I do
Probably a
think-
dead fairy dragon nearby.
I think we should
On a
create
spit.
Yeah,
a,
just right there, proud.
a bear motion chart so that we can refer to the bear.
Yeah, Barf is
motion.
in position. It's like
Yeah.
yoga. It's like now
Yeah.
in downward Barf dog.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Now it's swipey bear.
Barf
Swipey
warrior
bear.
pose.
Yeah. Well, there's like haunch stance, squared off stance. Like there's a couple. I don't know if you've seen a lot of like videos of how bears attack. I know I have. They,
studied Barfs
they stand
extensively.
in various positions, like hind legs. There's various positions.
What is the Barf's favorite attack pose? Is it like on hind
Oh,
legs?
hind legs.
Oh, it's clearly
Absolutely.
Mama.
Using its weight.
Mama
Mama
bear.
bear. Mama bear. I
Mama
think I
bear
said that the first time
You
too.
did.
Yeah.
I think you
I'm
said.
going for the.
It's like your samurai bear.
Think
what
of the children and then.
What happens is, like, in that sense, like, the inertia of the swipe and the coming down on it, you're using the bear is using its whole weight. So it's not only could
Yeah.
crush its opponent.
Yeah, I think in the last adventure you talked about how it's like when they attack a car.
Yes.
And you'd said
Oh,
you'd said like I don't know if you've ever seen footage of a bear attacking a car, and we're like, Kelly has clearly done a lot more research with bear attacks.
She's done a
than
lot of
any
bear
us.
It does like
research.
this, like, yeah.
There's an 80s montage somewhere of Kelly just watching bear videos.
I mean,
There's a great video. There's a great YouTube, and it's kind of debated on when it happened and if the outcome of the video
Bears
is
are real.
real. But it's from Russia, and the video it depicts. You kind of hear like two different types of guys talking in Russian, and like the dog barking at these baby bear cubs, and all of a sudden, one bear cub goes over the ridge, and the Russian guys are talking, and then you see the hump of Mama come over, and then Mama like crests over this ridge, and the two cubs are like kind of by her side, and the Russian guys are still like, and the dog's like still barking, and the mom is just standing there squared off, so like the claws are just like normal, just like like shoulder squared, but you know her front. And in the matter of, I think it's like a second and a half, she's just in a full sprint, and it cuts.
Wow.
And but like the speed of that animal going from like a dead stop to a full like charge is just
Terrifying.
like there's no reaction time. You know, like, and the myth
Your
around
decision
the story
is to just
they're
like
dead, they're
stand
rolling
there or
out.
stand there. I mean, it's just like, oh, and then
You're just like,
they're on you.
oh god,
It's a
you're
pants pooping
dead.
decision, maybe.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
How quickly do I?
I don't know if
empty
that's
my
a
bowels?
decision. It's just a fact of life
Yeah,
at that
it's just
point.
like, oh, that happened.
But that video definitely helped me understand like how quickly a bear can go from 0 to like 30. I think 30 is their top speed.
How
Really?
quickly,
That's a pretty high top speed.
Pants can go from unpooped to poop.
Super poop, yeah.
How did you have a fascination with bears?
I love bears.
Your
My
Twitter
favorite
is
animal.
Girl
Girl
Meets-
Meets Bear.
Yeah. Where did this come from?
I have a kind of like fear of bears. They're one of the most dangerous land animals next to, I think it is the tiger. The tiger, because the tiger can cognitively hunt. Polar bears are also like, the polar bear is actually the most dangerous land animal.
I have heard that.
Polar bears, unlike bears,
didn't know
have the
this.
perception of being able to identify any sort of prey, be it human or whatever, and know how to hunt it by choice. Bears don't, like, they'll see humans generally and not want to like hunt or like, I can eat that. They'll attack and destroy
And,
if
like,
they've had
defend.
history. Yeah. But polar bears will know, like, that's food. I'm going to hunt this. So it's like even more dangerous. But grizzlies are just, you don't want to meet them. So it's just that I have that like reverence and that fascination of like, oh my god.
And
this
have
is-
you met a bear?
I have. I went actually to Alaska last summer, and I went to the Katmai, not the Katmai,
The cat mines?
Katmai National Park.
Just
which
a bunch
is
of like
where-
kitties just.
The Katmai National
Ting-
Park is
that's where
where
crab
Brooks
videos come
River
from.
is.
Yeah.
Brooks River is one of the famous rivers that you see, like the posters of like the bears standing in the water eating the fish as they jump out of.
Oh.
That's Brooks.
Oh,
So it's like in the Katmai, and I went there. And in order to get to that platform to watch the bears, you just walk about 1 mile through like no fenced forest.
Just like
And
if
you
there's
can
a bear
see
there.
the bear paths that are like carved out that they've made. You see their
Jeez.
droppings.
Now, do you walk through that area or do you run
just-
briskly through
just
that area?
walk in groups. You have to go through like a bear safety briefing meeting before they like let you loose
yeah.
in the
I feel like
park.
that's one of those moments where like this.
And-
I'm really doing this. I just had a bear safety brief. Mate.
Yeah, you're like, this could
Seriously,
happen.
not a pamphlet.
There have been no attacks at the park, so none of the bears
Oh, that's
have this
good.
understanding of like humans are delicious or humans are food or humans are even threats, because if you see one you just make noise and back off.
Yeah.
You let it have full reign and you just stand there and wait for as long as it takes for it to do its thing and go off. And when I was coming back from the platform to go to lunch, because I was sitting there for like 4 hours, I'm like, I should probably go eat something. As I was coming around a blind corner, I was with a really big Indian family and like another family. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. They're all noisy, little kids making like a lot of noise. But I was ahead of them, and as I turned it around, there was just the huge male that we were watching eating at the river who,
Was
like,
right there?
darted out to like go after one of the females, and the ranger's like, oh, he like wants her. He was just standing right
Kids, close your eyes.
there. He's probably like about, oh gosh, 20 feet. Head down on the side of the trail, like eating something.
Oh,
and I'm just
geez.
like it's like Abbott Costello, like whoop, 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 whoop.
That's the
Running up a tree, running like Looney Tunes style up a tree, down another tree
I
in
was
the
like,
distance.
bear. He was about the size of a dumpster is the best way. Like
Just a dumpster
on
bear.
all fours, his little hump, like.
Wow.
And then so we backed up and we waited about 7-8 minutes until he
wow.
then like took off. Cause like we were like, is he gone? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, you go check. I'm like, oh man. So I poked around. Nope, he's still there. Okay, just hanging out. And
You
as-
go first, the children. You
and as
go
that was
first.
happening,
Throw a
all of a
beer at
sudden we
him.
heard like the rustling and we saw the female in the meadow. Like, oh shit, there's the lady. And like, we know he's there. We know she's there. You don't know she's there. We're like,
We'll just see what happens.
so
this is real.
for the audience, she is hunched and darting her
Yeah.
head from side to
Oh,
side.
we're like in the middle of like this mating thing.
Good to see
You
bear
know what's
mating.
weird is I've been in the middle of one of those before.
In bear mating? In the
Oh,
middle
it's
of
just a
bear
mating
mating?
thing.
Don't get in between two things that won't
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds. I'm happy that you got to watch bear mating happen.
I got to
You
live
met
up to my
bears at the most
namesake.
awkward time. It's like, hey, like, can you guys kind of scoot out of here? We're in the middle of a thing.
We're kind of do a thing, guys.
Kind of doing a thing, a bear thing.
They're like, yeah. I don't know. She didn't seem very interested, but there was actually another bear couple playing and mating in the
I can tell by
water.
her reaction.
Well, that's
She
what
didn't
the
want any
ranger
of
said.
this.
He's like, oh,
she brought a
doesn't
book.
want anything to
Yeah.
do with him. Like that. She's
out
like,
of his
no.
league.
Well,
that
he was
bear.
the largest male. They call them like they all have numbers, and he's like, oh, that's like 70 something. Like,
Oh, wow, they
74.
give them numbers?
They give them numbers because they
Just
track
like
all that.
See, the 39 Quaggoth wasn't too far
That's
off then.
completely accurate.
Yeah, 39 of the 49ers.
It's like, oh yeah, he's roughly around a ton. He's one of our larger males. I'm like,
That's heavy.
oh,
Tons a lot.
tons of big bear, big bear.
Well, guys, we've all learned a valuable lesson to always get between a bear and their mating season.
That's right.
That's the best way to go
That's
about
the best
it.
lesson
That's
you can
fine,
take away from this.
And also, fire bad for mummies.
Fire.
Yeah.
fire bad for mummies. You meet a mummy, just light it on fire. Always.
Yeah.
I thought the mummy would be made out of bugs. I had that like,
Well, there were
It's a
bugs
little
in him.
scary.
yeah, I
Or
thought it'd be
her.
like just bugs wrapped.
Oh, just
You're
like a
thinking of like the
creature.
boogeyman from
Yeah.
Nightmare
Yeah.
Before
yeah,
Christmas.
yeah.
No, that is a thing, though. I'm sure it's in the
Oogie
Monster
boogie.
Manual.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Scarab-
something that's just
Scarab
made of
bugs.
He's in the
Bugs,
4th
yeah.
edition. I don't remember if he's in the 5th, but
Yeah.
there's
There will
definitely.
be. I mean, there's always expansions on the Monster
Bug
Manual.
man.
So it'll be
He
cool.
might be. Oh, he might be one of the demons. There could be a bug. I haven't gone through
Probably.
the whole Monster Manual.
Bug
But
demon.
yeah, I was so excited when I realized it was a mummy. It's just like
Yeah, your eyes lit up. You're like, yes, yes,
because
all the fire.
Because we're fighting a mummy,
No.
which is just great. It's just like as
You
classic monster.
typically find them in tombs, but
Yeah.
nope, this one was just hanging out.
Yeah, just chilling. But then also because I knew fire bad, I was so happy.
Fire bad for
A lot of
mummies.
fire.
Fire bad for most things, but
Yeah.
especially for those.
It definitely didn't like Grax's fire breath. That pissed it off pretty bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
As soon as you burned up its side, it was like, oh, there's bandages. Probably a mummy.
Yeah,
No.
that dude was creepy though
Yeah.
with the mask.
Yeah, he didn't speak.
Yeah, I like that.
He just had
Or
the single,
shade.
like, almost, I imagined, as I was trying to describe it, it's like a pointed nose, and just a single metal piece around the eyes with just open eyes. Just, you can't see
Oh, like
anything.
a masquerade mask.
Yeah, it's like a masquerade
Oh,
mask. You don't
interesting.
see his mouth, like, everything's covered, and it's just here, and then it goes down to a pointed nose out
Interesting.
front.
That is cool.
Very creepy.
I sort of pictured like a full face, like Amon from Legend of Korra, but
That's
with
kinda
no,
what I thought, too.
but with no mouth, just like the carvings and like the
Oh,
carvings of
Yeah, like
eyes.
the-
That's still
It's
pretty
like
creepy.
deliberately creepy, like smooth
Yeah.
mouth. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, no, everybody's just like, yeah, I feel like the vizier's bad because that creepy dude, but, and because we're in D&D, but we're not gonna ask any questions.
Oh, I love how you're like, this is land diplomatic. Nope, we're gonna have to kill it.
We're gonna have to stab all
Yeah,
of
that's
them.
always a
Stabby
joke.
stab.
Like,
Slashy slash.
I can think of very few scenarios where you actually do resolve it diplomatically.
yeah, like the
Especially
Henry
with a mummy.
Kissinger, Henry Kissinger D&D. It just doesn't happen.
Henry Kissinger. All right, guys. Well, thank you.
Thanks again,
Thank
Marshall.
you. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Yeah, Marshall,
Thanks
thank
for
you for
inviting
coming
me out.
and playing with us.
Yeah, that was fun. It
was fun.
That was lots of fun.
All right. Once again, I'm sitting here with our producers, Jay Jones, who just ran the game that you just heard,
Hey.
Andrew Dickinger, and Niels-Christian Kielland.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry,
Say something, Niels. Say something.
And we're talking about the adventure we just ran with Marshall. And we should start off by just saying, where did the adventure start? Where did it come from? What was the inspiration for it? Was there a specific movie or Disney movie that you were
Is there a
referencing?
specific Disney movie?
I mean, definitely nothing to do with
Nothing
the
to
desert.
do with Aladdin.
But
Nothing like Aladdin.
How did it begin?
I think really it just kind of comes from like a change of location. So it was like, where can we take the party this time that's very different because they're very much now, especially after this adventure, kind of becoming more like world travelers, globetrotters. So it was like where, the basketball team, the fantasy basketball team. But so it was like, hey, why don't we take to a desert environment? So the desert was something that I haven't seen too much of my own playings of
Yeah.
D&D and just other campaigns because it's like forests in a cave and like an ancient temple in a cave in a forest. So it's like, why not a desert? That could be interesting. And also because it's just, I don't know, Aladdin's just a great movie.
I want to now go into an ancient temple in a cave in a forest.
In a forest? That's the next adventure.
I'm trying to I'm trying to remember. Thinking back, was Aladdin on the plate originally, or did you? I think you just came up to me and you're like, I really want to do a desert,
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
and then
it was
we
really
just
just
were
like,
desert Aladdin. Like
yeah, it was just like that makes sense. It was like, how far do we go with this Aladdin bit? And we went pretty far. We just kept going with it.
Because afterwards, I texted you.
Yeah.
After the game, I texted you and I was like, oh man, I just got that you made the Vizier a snake man, just like in Aladdin. And you were like,
oh yeah,
and you were like, well, you also, you were like, well, you also got the Iago thing, because you were mixing me up with a conversation you had with, I think, Kelly.
No, I really thought you were like, oh yeah, you got the, I guess I talked to Kelly afterwards and she got the Iago bit.
So you were like, oh, and the Iago thing. I was like, no, I just got that. I'm so angry. It's so good.
Yes, the fairy dragon was definitely a Iago.
Oh, I was talking about the parrot man with the New York accent.
Oh yeah. No. The fairy dragon was absolutely Iago.
That's even better.
That was
Because that's Iago. It's a little creature that sits on his shoulder and follows around the Vizier, who's obviously Jafar.
And not only it was a change of location, it was also a change of tone. It wasn't really a mystery as far as like a whodunit, because it was, definitely we knew the Vizier was a bad guy, or we sensed, but there was an intrigue going on, and there were like power struggles in the court and stuff. So did that come about for the same reason, or?
Well, I think the one general theme that like Jay had brought up originally, like how can we take like a task that you don't hear about in D&D, because there's always like conquer the dragon or explore the cave, but like
kill those trolls.
Yeah, season 1 you get you're going for it's just library. It's just library, but and then season 2 it's like, well, what's a job they could just get hired for? Hey, we're looking for help on this thing, and then it just falls into it, where it's just like, hey, we would do bodyguard jobs. Why wouldn't we do that?
Just falling into the plot.
It's another thing adventurers do, probably.
Yeah, no, definitely. Bodyguard jobs is a very common way to start things off. But then, like, to end in, like, a prison, or not end in a prison, to wind up in a prison dealing with power struggles on the Cal's court, like, a very different tone there than, well, now we just have to fight these monsters as we go down lower levels, like a video game.
Well, remember, we're talking about the Velvet League here.
Yeah.
They're the best problem solvers around.
Is that what we should call them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it comes down to just changing up the dynamic of the adventures.
They cause a lot of problems, but they also solve them.
Yeah. And it's just like, do you want to do just the layer of the dungeon a second time? It's like, no, we want to put them in a completely different location, but not only just a different location, but different problems and situations they have to deal with. Like, why not somehow they end up in a jail? Also, they have to deal with political intrigue and maybe sneaking comically through a banquet at some point. Like,
we'll get to that.
it's just more environment and more things for those characters to play with, because even though they are different adventures, we're sticking with these 3 characters as they grow and as they try different things. So it's like, we don't always want to just see Horace, Sweeney, and Izzy killing things in a dungeon. Like, what about how do they deal with royals? How do they deal with being in a jail? How do they deal in a town regularly and what they do there?
You guys, we talked about this last time. You guys test every encounter before we play through it. Was there anything you guys learned from that initial playthrough? Which guest character were you using, by the way? Because again,
what were we using for the
characters?
I don't remember what we were using.
I may have used one.
We might have used.
Wasn't.
I think it was a ranger. I think we tried them with a ranger.
It was a ranger.
It was a ranger, right? Yeah, I think it was a ranger. We tested it. And the sword fight was super easy.
Yeah.
And not difficult at all, unlike the actual adventure.
That's just the rolls, man. We talked about that last time, about, scaling encounters and things, and how you never know how people are going to roll.
Yeah, that one.
And sure enough, the next episode is us just failing to roll.
The error there, which didn't come up in the test, was the AC of the swords are really high. I think they're 17 or something like that, which is hard in 5th edition, actually.
Heavy.
Most creatures, even big nasty ones, like 4th edition, how they did AC was more like monster difficulty, like it would just go up.
It would scale.
While in this version, you can fight like level 7 or 8 monsters that still have like 14 AC. And the swords, the AC, I think in this just more naturally reflect what their actual armor would be, and swords are just swords. There's not muscle or tissue or anything. They're very thin, tiny, floating swords, so it's tough to hit them.
Yeah, I mean, because 5th edition more scales health and damage. Because, I mean, there's definitely a higher degree of danger in 5th edition. Like, things do a lot of damage, but they can also take a lot of damage. So it's like a lot of that give and take, where it's like, even something like the Cambion, what was bad about the Cambion in the Campaign 1 was that it had so much health.
Yeah, that was the problem. And dimensional travel.
And dimensional travel.
But then the swords, we just got unlucky. That was really the problem.
Yeah,
and
I guess we rolled really well.
Yeah, I think we rolled really well against them. Like 20s, like this is gonna be so easy. We're critting all of the swords, and
we
just like, nope.
We were rolling single digits.
It was really
everyone was missing. Like the fire was what killed them the most, really.
Yeah, mostly things they can't dodge. They just take blanket damage, which is nice to have a wizard. You know, you just like, you take this.
But even then, I
hit
had
you no
spells
matter what.
prepared that were like color spray. Well, they don't have eyes.
Right.
Mirror image. Well, they don't have eyes.
They're not confused. They're swords that just kill whatever's around them.
Because you don't know what you're going to go into.
How do these things see?
I think the Vizier one also was a pretty good fight. I think the one that we did have that we were worried about was the Mummy. The Mummy one was a fight that we were worried about, because the Mummy, just a base Mummy in the monster manual, its punches do like crazy amounts of damage.
15, I think it was.
Well, actually, yeah, I think it's 15, or actually I think it's 20. Like 10 damage and then like 10 necrotic damage. So like straight 20 damage.
The first time we tested that, we were testing it. I think I was testing with like a monk, which was one of the extra characters, and it's pretty sturdy character. One punch and boom, done. And I was like, well, this is difficult.
Yeah, so I think it was 15 in the adventure for that reason.
It was 10.
We should say, we don't roll damage for the monsters. We're using just the flat numbers.
We're using the flat numbers, so it's not chaotic and it makes it faster.
And also, you know what you're getting into.
Exactly.
I mean, the other worry as well is because the Mummy acts very much like an emboss. And then have the Mummy fight literally right before the Vizier.
Outside the door.
Like, outside the door. Like, we were worried, oh man, are they going to get damaged too much that they won't be able to handle the Vizier?
Exactly. But we also wanted to, like, it was this really weird, that was a really weird fight to balance, because we wanted to have the Mummy be kind of like the big bad. Like, if this was a story or a movie or something you were following, he was supposed to feel very much like, not a Darth Vader per se, but close to being like that second in command.
Like, like Bond's, like a henchman in a Bond
He's definitely
movie,
the muscle before the brain.
Exactly, yeah. So he's supposed to...
It's basically meant to be like fighting Darth Vader and then beating him and then getting hit with lightning.
then getting hit with lightning by the Emperor. And that's what it was supposed to feel like. So he's supposed to feel dangerous, but not do so much that he just cripples the party, and then a snake guy and a little dragon kills everybody else.
Yeah.
My favorite encounter, though, which was before the Mummy, is the right after the jail.
The Gnolls, who I think
the chaos in general.
Oh yeah,
the Gnolls who somehow escaped an adjacent Disney movie.
I remember all.
That's right.
I remember when the idea of like having them in this jail and there's just a ton of different monsters in there. I was just like, all I want is that someone pulls a lever and they all open.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to see.
And I didn't even need to pull a lever and have them all open.
I think there was at one point...
Yeah, I know. When that happened, I was like, oh, thank God. He knows where we want to go with
this.
I think at one point we were even saying just like, it doesn't matter what level they pull. Just make sure the first lever they pull opens all the doors.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what we ended up doing. Like, I didn't want... At the end of the day, I was like, okay, like, you can investigation and seek this out. So, like, on the fly, we were like, yes, that chain leads to this one. But then somebody was just like, you know what? I'm just going to pull all of them anyway. And it was funny because I think, like, when we were originally talking about the jail, it was like, yeah, there'll be, like, some gnolls and stuff. And you guys, Andrew and Niels, were both like, no, there's got to be a bunch of colorful crap in there. Like, I think you guys were like, yeah, there's got to be, like, a unicorn and an owlbear and like, a bugbear with fairies.
I want a bugbear that just gets covered in goblins. And he's just...
just fighting a bunch of little things,
There was a bugbear and a quaggoth.
Yeah.
The Quaggoth was
featured. The Quaggoth was actually going to be part of that encounter with the gnolls. Mm-hmm. But Kelly did such a good job of befriending a evil creature that I was like, maybe this doesn't happen.
What it was is sort of like the T-Rex attacking the raptors. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Because like we took on the gnolls, but then he was also like, I'll eat some gnolls.
You guys wrecked those gnolls pretty hard just by themselves.
Well, I did my spell and scared them away.
And that was a lot of that too. That comes from collaboration with the players, I think. As a DM, like, if you see the players start leaning some way and they start really either dedicating, I don't want to say to like a bit, but to like a nice and creating a nice narrative, whether that's befriending the Quaggoth or you as Sweeney, you are like having this great engagement with the gnolls, and you on the fly just seeked out that they might be afraid of this fairy dragon, and then really digging into that when you were doing your mirror, like your image, I think it's called a mirror image.
No, it's a minor illusion.
Minor illusion. Like, you have, as a DM, you have to reward that kind of creativity, even though you're like, oh, I want this to just be a standard fight. Like, you know what? Just lean into it. Like, have fun with the players.
Well, because you got to remember that you may design the campaign, but you're not playing it.
Exactly.
And so, like,
you're navigating it, really.
Yeah.
Guys, you want to come this way? No, this way? All right, okay. Well, let's see where we're going then. Together.
You have to be willing to go where the adventurers take you.
Exactly.
Otherwise, the game doesn't work.
Nope.
Speaking of going where the players take you, sneaking through the court. Now you and I talked about this off mic. You didn't have a game plan for how we were going to do that. You just presented the challenge. I
exactly.
think?
Yeah. Well, we were sitting down and we were writing out the adventure, and we were like, well, they have to get to the Vizier at some point. And we didn't want to create more complication of like they have to go talk to this person and they maybe have to turn this person to their side because there's only so much you can do in a self-contained adventure.
In a one shot, yeah.
Right. So it was like, well, how about like this is the end point. This is where they are. Let them figure out how they get there.
I think there was even a secret passage at some point.
Yeah, and like they could go outside. That we were gonna have like probably guards on the roof or looking around. Like if they chose that, which I really thought you guys were gonna do. Like they're not gonna go through the banquet. Like that's crazy. Like in front of all the people and guards. That's outrageous. They're like, yeah, and then you guys making an imaginary fake cake and Horace taking on the extremely hilarious accent that he did.
Oh yeah,
was I mean that was just better than I could have anticipated.
And then talking about the fairy dragon, the final fight, we didn't really get into.
Oh my god!
Now I should say
that was so great.
I think I said it in the last one as well. I think I had Marshall roll an extra die. I think 1d6 or something, but still.
Disclaimer: that might have been it might have been not as strong of an attack as it.
We are all still learning 5th edition on the air, basically. Oh, that was the other thing is like when I forgot my spells. That's me forgetting how spellcasting works in 5th edition, because that's I think like an early edition thing. Like that's something,
right.
Because I'm just reading the Dragons of Autumn Twilight books, and that's how that works in those books. So I'm like, oh, that must be how it works now. Wait, because it's not that either. So I shouldn't have forgotten all my spells, but things like that, we're still learning the game. That said,
right,
Izzy's insisting the whole time, we gotta, train the dragon. We gotta train the dragon. We gotta get the dragon on our side. And just Marshall pulls out a javelin and just
the best moment is it disappears. She makes it appear so that she can find it, and he instantly nails it to the wall with the javelin. Sad.
Couldn't have been perfect timing of just like how much she wanted to like train this thing for the entire adventure, and then him just ruining it in one beautiful moment. Like, that's straight out of like, da-na-na, there it is, just nailed against the wall.
I could picture it very cinematic.
What's funny too is that was another creature that was put in that we were like afraid of how it would affect the encounters.
Because the fairy dragon, if one, it can turn invisible at will, and it's super impossible to hit stuff that's invisible. I think it's just really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it had a lot of really annoying powers that were going to basically disable a lot of the players, a lot of you guys. So it would have really thrown a wrench into a lot of the different abilities that you guys could do, but nope, just got super murdered right out the gate.
Well, I was unlucky for the fairy dragon that Izzy had fairy fire, which just kind of made it to the there it is.
Yep. There. Oh, there's the dragon dead.
Because Marshall was saying, like, he was looking at his sheet and he said something like, oh, I can hit it at like such and such, and I was like, opponents you can see, I don't know how this is gonna work, and then Kelly made it visible. I was like, well, this is gonna work out just fine.
And then I think he critted, and then
it was a hell of a hit. I know that.
And then all of his die rolls were like the maximum he could roll.
I think he unnatural critted. He literally just rolled max damage.
He willed it to death.
And then we had to take care of the Vizier.
Yeah.
And I had a question regarding the encounters and regarding these sort of building things as you were talking about, because the fight with the mummy is sort of the reverse of the sword fight, where the sword fight is a lot of enemies that are all kind of evenly matched. The mummy is sort of one core enemy, and then these two side characters.
Mm-hmm.
The guards under his thrall, and then you have the final encounter, which ideally presents two monsters to deal with.
Ideally.
How important is it to you? Because obviously they're very different for a reason, for the variety, the gnolls as well. What advice do you have as far as making encounters just distinct and giving them each their own identity and dynamic?
I would say at least change the monsters up. Like, you can use a monster as a core idea for like for its abilities, like rules to follow, but make it your own.
Yeah, change. I mean, the mummy was very much right away. I loved the idea of I had the idea for this Darth Vader type character from the start, but what was going to fill it? Like an assassin type character or whatever. But then, like flipping through the monster manual, it was like mummy, desert, yes. But like the idea of a mummy assassin, I was just like, that just sounds so great.
Yeah. Like it's taking the mummy from like the first hour of the Mummy movie where he's in the shrouds and no one sees his face, and then making him like the Darth Vader. It's like,
and I like the idea of him being like this fast, like faster, almost like a monk mummy, which is just so weird but very entertaining to me.
To just the stumbling.
Yeah, like it changing up how, as you were saying, how a monster moves, and that can just change the dynamic of a fight. But just designing the whole adventure itself, whenever we design any of these, we want them to feel different from each other.
Yeah.
I think I said this in the previous one, in the previous Aftermath, but we like the idea of being able to see different strengths of different characters. Because you might have a character that's just all power and goes in and can cut up a guy really nicely, but what about if he's fighting a ghost and he can't do that well? Then you have to leverage some of your other players. So I think as a DM, you want to look to the people you're playing with. So don't just design your adventures in a bottle. You know, look at who your players are, what are their strengths, what do you know they like to do, and play to some of those and see how they can maybe change their strategy or how they can leverage some of the things they don't normally use to solve something.
Yeah.
So for example, this was, I think, the first time they had to fight someone that their enemy was actually somebody who was under control, somebody they wouldn't want to actually kill. Now, I think they almost killed, you guys almost killed somebody, set them on fire or something.
Well, I mean, the closest we had was when Horace was turned against us in the Cambion fight, and then we just wasn't a factor in that fight. You know, and that's sort of using your players against each other.
That's right, yeah.
In a way, because that's the other thing is, you know, you have to know what they're good at and sort of play to it. You also have to use that against them sometimes.
Exactly. And in this, you know, it was a lot of the swords was one way, the gnolls was definitely more of like you guys were almost crafting the encounter yourselves, of how you deal with the creatures around you was how that encounter was going to shape out. So I thought that was interesting, just because it's not a straight like, and a thing comes out and fights you. It's just like how you socially interact with everything in this jail is how it happens. And then the Darth Vader fight, the mummy fight, was like, how do you beat this singular character and these guards without killing them, but also killing him? It was just trying to make them feel as different as possible. Different tactics.
And do you recommend any sort of tricks, like look to movies or things like that, like anything?
I think what's worked for me is start with your story and see where your story is going to go. And then with each of your scenes, imagine cinematically how you'd like to see that scene play out. You know, would you want them to save the guards and the mummy? Would you want them to break out and have a crazy, hilarious shenanigans jail fight? And once you have those, exactly. And once you have those kind of cinematic scenes set up in your mind, place the pieces correctly, and if the players get what you're going for, they're probably going to lean into it and have, like our players did, where you guys just pulled all the levers anyway.
We say you guys, it was me.
It was you, yeah.
I wanted a Cabin in the Woods moment.
I think it's just flexibility. Like that you need to have the flexibility in the counters. Never have it it just has to be this way. Like you just can't do that. You got to just have the materials aligned so that the dominoes can fall.
Yeah.
Based on what the players do.
But on what the players do.
I'm glad Sweeney was playing because I got exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, you were like, yes, and then rip them all open.
Great. Thanks so much, guys. And we're looking forward to Season 3.
Thank you so much for listening, and thanks again to Marshall Williams for coming on our show and recording with us. We had such a great time, and he was totally game for whatever we threw at him, including hyena men and dudes with snakes for arms. And really, what more can anyone ask for? Be sure to follow Marshall on Twitter at @It'sMarshallW, where he is frequently hilarious. Next week, we'll be bringing the first installment of our new adventure with special guest star Jonathan Keltz from the CW show Rain. He's just fantastic, and we have another great series of episodes in store for you. Also, as a reminder, you can find photos and character art for each of our recordings and adventures in our show notes on partialarc.com. That's arc with a C. There you can also listen to full episodes or check out other podcasts such as Because Comics or even Roll to Seas. If you like the show, why not leave us a rating and review on iTunes? Any 5-star rating or review really helps new people find the show, which is always a good thing. And finally, we'd love to hear from you, so if you'd like to send us an email, you can do that at FridayNightQuests@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Partial Arc. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
Yeah, I'm gonna loot the body.
So, how much experience do we get?
Well, now we have a skeleton army, so that's pretty neat.